Thank you. I love you guys. I'm feeling the love. I'm really nervous, and I'm excited. This talk was born a little over a year ago when I was spending my dad's final days with him. And I was so grateful because I was able to tell him how much she meant to me. My dad always worried that he hadn't given us enough, materially, financially. But I was able to take his hands at the end there and say to him, Dad, thank you for giving me the greatest gift any parent can give their child. I always knew that you were crazy about me. My dad wasn't perfect, but he gave me this great field of love in which I was able to rest deeply and play wildly. I never worried that who I was or what I did would remove me from his love. And I started thinking about this field as the Londolozi of our soul. And I think it's everyone's birthright. I think it's the place where, for most of human history, we have found deep rest. And I don't mean physical rest, as important as that is. I'm talking about a deeper psychological and emotional rest. You see, we're designed with something that scientists are calling an attachment system. You know how they like to label things? So this attachment system is the impulse we have to connect, to bridge our separateness, to find each other in this field of love. And this attachment system seeks for love like a plant seeks for the sun. And just as the sun is the vital spark that brings a plant alive, so is love our vital spark. We can have all of our bodily needs met, but if we don't have this attachment need met, we can literally die. At the very least, we are without that spark. If you've ever seen pictures of those children in those crowded Romanian orphanages, have plenty of physical rest, but their eyes are so lifeless. Their deepest hunger has not been fed. And this is what saddens me, is I feel that this field of love has been colonized, much as Londolozi once was colonized. It's been stripped of its wildness and its beauty, and it's being used for purposes for which it was never intended. So love becomes a tool by which we manipulate others. If you're pleasing to me, I'll give you my love. Displease me, I'll remove it. Love might become just another transaction in a capitalist system where we start to keep accounts. Are you loving me as much as I'm loving you? And where we might start to question whether we are committing one of the biggest sins of capitalism, which is to receive something without having earned it. And then there's this big overarching message as we stand in this ravaged field, in the midst of a famine. There's this message we're being told. The problem is not that there's no food. The problem is that you are too hungry. As the industrial paradigm champions independence and individualism and pull yourself up by your bootstraps, because that facilitates the system. It facilitates pulling children from their families to work in factories or to put them in schools so that we can prepare them for work. And this impulse that's deep in us to connect, to love one another, to depend on one another, becomes pathologized. So what once was a beautiful field in which we could find rest has become a field of work and toil as our attachment system is preoccupied, working hard, trying to figure out, who do I have to be? What do I have to do? How do I have to edit, shape, mold, contain myself so that I can be loved? And we keep that wildness fenced in behind a wall, lest it accidentally get out there and be hunted down and rejected. This has caused an epidemic of restlessness. It shows up as anxiety problems and attention problems and aggression and addiction and insomnia and on and on. Things that are becoming epidemic in our culture that are rooted in restlessness. And it is costing us dearly. It is costing us our creativity. Because without that place of deep rest, we cannot fully enter into deep play. If our attachment system is preoccupied with finding love, we cannot get into deep play where our imaginations run wild and our creativity blossoms and where every ounce of our emergent energy is channeled to our growth and the realization of our potential. And if ever there was a time when we needed to be tapping into our full creativity and reaching our full potential as individuals and as a collective, it's now. So, we have a mission. We have a wild field that needs to be restored. We have to bring this field of love back as Londolozi has been brought back. Restore the beauty, restore the abundance, restore the wildness. Let's put down our ideas of hard work. Let's put down the tools of toil. Let's step back into that field as Kat so beautifully illustrated. Let's step back into it from a place of openness to connection and full acceptance of our experience. Kat listened to the whisperings of her heart, even as the dominant culture was pushing her in the complete opposite direction. We can do the same. About a month after my dad died, my family was out for breakfast, and my 4-year-old nephew ordered pancakes, and he had a few bites, but he mostly spent his time playing with his Lego. The time came to leave, and suddenly he really wanted those pancakes after all. So there was a big emotional outburst. But I want my pancakes! So I scooped him up and I took him outside. And I intuitively held him in this wild, abundant place, this field of love. And I remember thinking to myself, you may not grow up knowing your grandfather, but if I have anything to do with it, you will know his love. And I held him, and his emotion moved through him. And I did not allow the colonizers into that field. I did not try and reason with him. Well, you had plenty of time to eat your pancakes, but you chose to play instead. I did not try to talk him out of his feelings. Come on now, it's only pancakes, nothing to cry about. I did not try and fix the problem for him. Okay, just calm down and Auntie will take you back inside and you can finish your pancakes. And I did not even go into a place of deep compassion. I understood why he was upset, but I did not feel his pain. Any of those would have been meeting his restlessness with my own, and there would have been no rest. As it was, his emotion moved through him. He had his last little sob, and his body rested against mine, so I could feel that he was in that place of rest. His attachment hunger had been filled. And within a minute or two of being there, he was squirming to get out of my arms and run to the beach and play, because the waves were full of sea monsters, and there were pirates, and there were all kinds of imaginings that needed to be attended to. And I love this because children show us how simple it really can be. It can be this simple. We can lay down and find rest in this field of love. We can offer it to our loved ones, to our clients. We can listen to the wind whispering through the grasses of the field, speaking to us in our mother tongue, a language we know better than any other language. The language of love, of course. Because out beyond ideas of industrialization and capitalism and manipulation, there is a wild, abundant field of love